to get you sort of ready for the teaching this morning. Experiencing a successful marriage. That's what we're looking at this morning. Experiencing a successful marriage. We were looking at a couple of weeks ago, reestablishing God's order in family and marriage. I saw on the page, the marriage page, where Mitzi had posted something to that effect about the order in marriage. How that is God first, and the husband, the wife, and children, and whatnot. Exactly. And so this morning we're looking at experiencing a successful marriage, in case we don't know. And of course many of us don't know what a successful marriage is, because many of us come out of homes where there was a bad model of marriage. We came out of a family where there was no model of what a marriage is. Even though some cases we might have both husband and wife or mother and father living in the same house. At the same time, it was a bad model for the children to look at. And children not knowing any different, they grow up and they get married and they emulate the same thing that they saw their parents do. The boys act the same way they see their fathers act. The girls act the same way they see their mothers act, and consequently they begin. In their marriages, they relate to their spouses in the same way, in the same manner in which they saw their parents model marriage in their home. You know, the husband disrespecting or not loving the wife, and the wife not respecting the husband and whatnot, and they always fussing at each other. They always, in some cases, cussing each other, using bad language, sometimes in front of the children, fighting, physically fighting and all that sort of thing. And that is what children are modeling in that kind of home. And so if the children are not exposed to anything else, if they don't go to a church where they're taught as to what marriage is and what it isn't, then the chances are those children are going to grow up doing the same thing, repeating the same mistakes that they saw their parents made in their homes. And that is a tragedy. That is a tragedy. That is a tragedy, and that is why this series is so important. It's so important, especially to the younger ones like K1, K2, K3, and A1, and others who come in. Some of us are too far gone to change, but at least you younger ones, you know, at least you have a model, a biblical model to go by. You know, if you take this in, some of it will stick. And when you do get married, you know, this is going to come back to you. Some of these things are going to come back to you because you were taught it. And so our text then is Ephesians chapter 5 again. And in some cases, of course, we repeat some of the same stuff or the same scriptures that we dealt with before. Because, of course, there are only a couple of scriptures to do with marriage in any case in the Bible. And so for the most part, we have to be repeating some of these same scriptures over and over again, and perhaps dealing with it from a different point of view, just to make the point. And so Ephesians chapter 5, verses 21 to 33. Paul talking to the Ephesians church, he says, submitting to one another in the fear of God. He says, wives, submit to your own husbands as to the Lord. And for the husband is head of the wife, as also Christ is the head of the church, and he is the Savior of the body. Therefore, just as the church is subject to Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word, that he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. So husbands ought to love their own wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as the Lord does the church, and so on and so forth. And so, in successful marriages, we're talking about experiencing a successful marriage. That is what we're looking at this morning. Specifically, experiencing a successful marriage. What is a successful marriage? What does it look like? What does a successful marriage look like? K1 and K2, K3 and A1. If we hadn't modeled that at home for you, at least you have some idea of it from the Word of God. In successful marriages, spouses give up their rights for one another. Verse 21. Spouses give up their rights for one another, submitting to one another in the fear of God. That's what it is, and that is how it ought to be in marriage. And so if you're not prepared as a young person to do that when you get married, don't get married. Don't get married. Don't even think of it. Don't think of it, because it ain't gonna work. In successful marriages, wives give respect to their husbands, verses 22 to 24 that we saw. 22 to 24, and verse 33 of the same section. In verse 23 says, nevertheless, let each one of you in particular so love his own wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. You see that? Paul is telling the wives to love your own husbands, or husbands, I'm sorry, to love their wives. And likewise, he's saying to the wives, see that you respect your husbands. Again, when you reach the point of getting married, if you're not prepared to respect your husbands, don't get married. Don't get married. If it's only because of the nice car that he drives around, or because his good looks, so-called good looks, and so on, don't get married. Okay? I'm telling you right now, don't, because it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. You might think it's going to work, but it wouldn't work. So, in successful marriages, husbands give love to their wives. In verses 25, verses 30, and verse 33. We already read that, so we're not going to read it again. Verses 25, verse 30, and verse 33. Husbands give love to their wives. In successful marriages, spouses give Christ their reverence. Yeah. Spouses give Christ their reverence in verse 21. And so today we are going to talk about how to have a successful marriage, even considering the fact that men and women are very different. They're so different. How to have a successful marriage. K2, K3, whatever. I can throw this book at you. You all pay attention now. You're going to need this. You're going to need this in years to come, so you all pay attention. You all going to need this information in years to come. Okay? So pay attention. Pay attention. You need this information. I am not just talking about physical differences, but how different we are relating, or relationally and emotionally as men and women, as husband and wife. We're different. We're different relationally, and we are different emotionally. In other words, as husband and wife, we relate differently. We relate to things and the people differently. And that is what makes us different. Do you ever wonder what God was thinking when he designed man and women so differently? We process things differently. We think differently as husbands and wives, or men and women. We think differently, we process things differently. We can even experience the same situation and yet see it so totally different. Because we are designed that way. God designed us to think and to approach things differently. And so sometimes we get into arguments as husband and wife. We get into arguments because we don't see things the same way, but that's the way God made us. We see things differently. And we find ourselves arguing stupidly over little things like that. You know, because we look at things differently. A man looks at a situation differently than a woman does. And so she'll be fussing with him. Why, what's wrong with you? Or vice versa, he's fussing with her. I said, why you think like that? Because that's the way God designed us. To look at things from a different perspective, okay? Have you ever been there? Felt that you and your spouse were so different that there is no way things can work out? No way that you could experience a successful marriage? Have you been there? Sure. Sure, sometimes you feel like throwing in the towel, right? And so, I want to tell you that if you have been married for more than a couple of years, this thought has probably crossed your mind at some point, even if you have resisted it by the power of Christ. But if men and women are so totally different, how is it that we can have a successful marriage and truly experience the joy that God desires for us to experience within that relationship. So to begin with, an intelligent couple, an intelligent woman and an intelligent man getting married, they should first of all understand, they should recognize the fact that they are different. That God designed us differently, that God wired us differently. God didn't wire a man to be like a woman, and he didn't wire a woman to be like a man. He wired a woman to be like a woman, and to think like a woman, and to be like a woman. And honey, he wired a man to be like a man, and to think like a man, and to respond like a man, and to relate like a man. A man can't think like a woman, and a woman can't think like a man, but in a good marriage, you complement each other, and you come into that marriage with that understanding that we're different. And so we have to learn how to accept that, and to learn how to tolerate each other's difference. You celebrate it, in fact, and be different. I wouldn't want to be married to a woman man, or a woman who's mannish. I can't deal with it. Having to relate to a mannish woman. No. I want a woman. I want a female, not a man. Because I ain't gay. Nothing about me gay. I want a female. I don't want a woman to look like a man. I don't want a woman to sound like a man. I don't want a woman to act like a man. I want a woman to be a woman. In every sense of the word, to be female. Amen? And I'm sure a woman wants the same thing about a man. She wants a man who's a man. A woman doesn't want a womanish man. A man who gossips like a woman. A man who cries like a woman, a man who's emotional like a woman. No. She wants a strong man, a man that she can lean on. And so this morning, we are going to look at Paul's teachings through the guidance of the Holy Spirit in Ephesians concerning husbands and wives and how we are to treat each other. That's what we're looking at this morning. And Paul in these verses gives us some essential truths that we need to practice if we are going to experience real joy in our marriages. I'm afraid that too many people, when they get married, they just get married, just because it's a thing to do. I'm old enough now, I need to get married. I need to get married so I can be on my own. Number one, I can have my own apartment, and I could go and come as I wish, and I could just live good and have all the sex I want and whatnot. Because, not being married, you're supposed to have sex. And so that's why I need to get married, so I can have a bunch of sex. And that's as far as most people think about marriage. Freedom, do as you wish, come as you want, when you want, go when you want, and have a bunch of sex. Boom, that's it. That's the end of it. Really? Really? You're gonna have a rude awakening if that's what you think marriage is all about. What is a successful marriage? What is a successful marriage? And so before we start, I think it is important to define a successful marriage. As for those of you writing down K3, if you're making notes, make this note. A successful marriage is one in which both the husband and wife, you ready? A successful marriage is one in which both the husband and wife experience the joy and unity even amid struggles. And that's important. That's an important part right there. That the husband and wife experience the joy and unity. Now notice that. Joy and unity even amid struggles. Not only good times. Not only when you have a bunch of money. And not when everything is going right for you. No. There is unity and there is joy even amid struggles. That comes from being united physically, emotionally, and spiritually. That is the definition of a successful marriage. Unity and joy. Unity and joy, despite what's going on. There's still unity and there's joy. Not only when things are good, but there's unity and joy all the time, because you understand what marriage is about. Until death do you part. When you made that vow before the priest or before the minister, you made a vow. And until death you was part. For better or for worse. Not only for better, you ain't get married because he's rich now, but if he gets poor, What if he loses his money? What if he gets sickly? What if he becomes disabled? Could you still love him? Or could you still love her? What if she has a bad accident, a bad car accident, and she get all mashed up? Her face is ruined, and she can't walk. She has to use a wheelchair. Could you still love her? That's what marriage is about. You made a vow, for better or for worse. And a lot of us make that vow in the front of the minister in church. A lot of us. But we don't think down the road because we're not sincere about it. We are saying it only because we've been asked a question, or we've been asked by the minister to repeat after me. But we don't really give it any real thought. Do I really mean that? How deeply do I mean that? How much do I love this woman, or how much do I care about this man, that I will stick with him through thick or thin? I'm making a commitment today in the front of this pastor and in the front of this whole audience. I'm making a commitment that for better or for worse, for richer or poorer, till death do us part, I will be there for you. That's marriage. That's what a successful marriage is all about. A successful marriage, again, is one in which both the husband and wife experience the joy and unity, even amid struggles. That's an important phrase right there. Even amid struggles, you're still united. You're still joyful. There's still joy in the marriage. You're still together, even in the midst of struggles. You ain't ready to pick up your Georgie bundle and go back home to mommy because he out of work, or because he's sick, or because this or the next thing, or because you all had a difference, you all had some quarrel last night, you had a misunderstanding, you had the first row last night, the first misunderstanding, and you're ready to pack up your Georgie bundle and go back to mommy. No. No, that ain't what marriage is about. You can't go back to mommy. You can't go running back to mommy. Or you can't go running back to daddy's house because you all had one altercation last night because he disagreed with you or whatnot, or he didn't allow you to have your own way. No. A successful marriage is one in which both the husband and the wife experience the joy and unity even amid struggles that comes from being united physically, emotionally, and spiritually. That is the definition of a successful marriage. That's the kind of mindset you gotta have when you enter marriage. This ain't nothing to do with no having your own way and having your own key and you having your own freedom now. I don't have to get permission from daddy, or I don't have to get permission from mommy, and I can have all the sex I want now, and I can go to all the parties, I can have all the friends I want come around, and they can sleep in my apartment. I can party every night, or I can party. No. That's a fool's idea of marriage. This does go back. It goes back to how God created man and woman. He created us to be united. He created us to be united. Look at Genesis chapter 2. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 18. He created us to be united. God wants us to be united. And it says, and the Lord God said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helper comparable to him. Notice that the woman was made for the man. I will make him a helper. That's God, I mean. It is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helper comparable to him. Unless a woman understands her role, unless a woman understands that and what part she has to play in a marriage, that marriage ain't going to work. God made the woman to complement the man, to be a helper. To be a helper. Amen? And then in verse 22 of 24 of the same chapter, Genesis chapter 2, it said, then the rib which the Lord God had taken from man, he made into a woman. He made into a woman or a man, like Miles Monroe used to say, a man with a womb. A woman. A man with a womb. My God. A woman is a man with a womb? No, he's calling it Miles. And he brought her to the man. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman. She's a man with a womb. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. These are some strong words. They shall become one flesh. God created us to be united, that is, husband and wife. When you get married, you leave husband, you leave mommy, and you leave daddy. When you become united with your spouse. Boy, I have a teaching, a heavy teaching on this, boy. But I'm preparing you for some deeper stuff. Before we get to that deeper stuff that I'm talking about, we got to go through these, just the fundamental, elementary stuff. This is elementary. I got some deep stuff I want to share with you guys that I'm preparing for this series. Deep stuff. My God. It's revolutionary. It's revolutionary. And so God has ordained that in marriage, men and women be united completely. And when we experience the joy of marriage as God intended. That's the only way we can experience the joy in marriage, when we are united. When we are united. That's the only way we can experience joy. There's no way that you can experience the joy of marriage if you're not united. You over there, he over there, he doing this thing, you doing this. Huh? There's no unity. You never experience the joy of marriage. Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother, be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. That's united. They are to become one flesh. You leave mommy to cleave to your wife. You leave mommy to cleave to your wife. That's marriage. You can't be married to a man or married to a woman and still married to your mommy. No. Psychologically, you're still married to mommy. No. Marriage is not a threesome. Marriage is a twosome. It's a twosome. It's not a threesome or a foursome. Amen? And so, well, why don't we experience this if this is what God intended, that is, this unity? Because the truth of the matter is that most marriages are not successful. That's true. Most marriages are not successful. We get married, like I say, first couple of months, a lot of sex. And then you get sex on. You get sex on after a couple of months. You're looking forward to it. And you get sex on, you get tired of it. Then you start asking, what next? Okay, I conquered that. I know all there is to know about that. What next? What next on the agenda?
Plenty of orange juice.
Or you need more than orange juice to keep a marriage together. You need plenty of orange juice, more than orange juice to keep a marriage together. Over 50% of marriages end in divorce. And in countless other marriages where divorce hasn't occurred, there is no joy being experienced. They're still together as husband and wife, but there's no joy. No joy in marriage. And I would venture to say that most marriages, that is, those who are still together, they have lost the joy of the marriage, but they're still together. They have lost the joy of being married. And so the really sad part is that in the church, the statistics are not any different than it is. In fact, I've seen some statistics where they said that the divorce rate in the church is even higher than the world. I guess in some churches, some denominations. And do you want to know the reason for that? It is because we say that we believe God and His Word with our mouth, yeah, but we don't really believe with Him with our actions. We don't believe in our actions. We say with our mouth, but we don't really believe it in our actions. And I want to tell you today that God's word is true, and if we would trust God and follow these guidelines on marriage, all of us would be able to experience a successful marriage. Amen. And I hope you all are paying attention, K2, K3, and A1. Because I would think that at least within 20 years, some of y'all might be married. 20 or 30 years. In the case of Asia, about 40 years. Amen. So let's read the text and look a little more closely at what the Lord wants us to do. Or let's refer to it anyway, Ephesians chapter 5, verses 21 to 33. I'm not going to read all that again because we read it already. Ephesians chapter 5, verses 21 to 33. But just make a note to look at that again. In verse 22 it says, "Wives, submit to your own husbands, as to the Lord, for the husband is head of the wife, as also Christ is head of the church, and he is Savior of the body." Okay? So let's first see that in successful marriages, spouses give up their rights for one another. Now this, again, I have a whole teaching on this. A separate teaching on that. It's called the law of possession. And whatnot. Spouses give up their rights for one another. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 21 says, "Submit to one another." We are to submit to one another, and of course that applies to both husband and wife. In verse 21, not just the wives. Submitting to one another in the fear of God. So husband is to submit to the wife, and wife is to submit to the husband. And that Greek word that is translated as submit means to place oneself under. To place oneself under. So in marriage, the wife is supposed to place herself under her husband. She is to place herself under her husband and vice versa. Okay? In a successful marriage, in successful relationships of every kind, we are to give up our rights for another in successful marriage. Now again, if you're not prepared to do that in marriage, forget it. Forget it. If you were so independent minded and this is my life and this is my this and this is my next thing and I ain't giving up my independence and what? Forget it. If you go into marriage with that kind of attitude, with that kind of mindset, forget it. Stay home. Stay with mommy or wherever you are. Don't make that person miserable. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. In a successful marriage, in successful relationships of every kind, we are to give up our rights for another. That is basic, that is fundamental in a marriage. You got to be willing to give up your rights for your spouse. And like I say, it goes both ways. You know, for that marriage. It can't be one-sided. It can't be lopsided. The husband can't expect the wife to do so and, and he not be willing to do the same thing. No, it has to go both ways. It has to be unselfish. And we live in a society where we are selfish. We are a bunch of selfish people. And nobody wants to give up their rights for somebody else. Who do you think he is? Or who she thinks she is? In our society today, we equate submission with weakness. With weakness and joylessness. That's how we look at submission. And I'm sure that some of you right now are thinking, if I give up my rights, I'm going to get walked all over. And I will never experience happiness if I were to give up my rights. I ain't give up my rights to nobody. Crazy. My daddy ain't grew me up like that. My mommy ain't raised me like that to give up my rights. I was not raised to give up my rights in my home or growing up. But now you expect me to go into a marriage and all of a sudden give up my rights? No. I ain't going to do that and get walk over. That's the idea. That is the mindset. That's the society. The society establishes for us. And like I say, we are raised that way for the most part by our parents. To not give up your rights, to not let anybody walk over you. Don't take no laughs from nobody. That kind of mindset. And how in the world with that kind of mindset you can go into a marriage and all of a sudden be submissive and want to give up your rights? That ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. Trust me. That ain't gonna happen. So we got to start training ourselves now, girls. K2, K3, and A1. You gotta start now. You have to start now teaching yourself how to submit, how to give up your rights. If you're thinking about getting married one day, it ain't gonna happen overnight. Trust me. If you get married at age 25 or 26 and on all your life you were independent and whatnot, and now you get married at age 27 or whatever, or 37, or 47, in the case of Asia.
God forbid it.
Especially the older you are, like in the case of Asia, 47, how in the world she can just submit to somebody when she never experienced that or never practiced that all her life. For 47 years, she never practiced submitting to somebody. How could she now suddenly submit to somebody? It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. So I need to protect my rights and guard them if I'm going to experience joy in my life. That's the idea. That's our thinking. If I want to be happy in life, if I want joy, I gotta protect myself. I gotta protect myself. I gotta protect myself on K1, K2, and K3, you know. Like you always, K2 and K3, how you always fighting each other, but you're protecting each other. You're protecting yourselves. You're protecting yourselves. Somebody has to give in at some point. And so I will agree with you that to give up your right for someone else seems risky, I agree, and somewhat counterintuitive. But Christ often called us to the counterintuitive. Lose your life, he says, and you will find it. In Mark 10 and 39. That's Jesus' teachings. That's what he taught us. He says, lose your life, and you will find it. In other words, submit, he said. The first will be last, and last will be first. Mark 10 and 31. These are Jesus' teachings. Not many of us, if not most of us, if all of us, we ignore these things, these teachings. Jesus is teaching us, and he's helping to prepare us for marriage. He said, do not repay evil with evil, but with blessings, 1 Peter 3 and 9. But in marriages, we break all these rules, don't we? We break all those rules of marriage. Do not repay evil with evil. That's what we do in marriage. And I ain't taking no laughs from the one. Giving up your rights when the Lord tells us to do it, though only seems risky. In fact, it is the best and safest thing we could do. It's not about weakness, but strength. That is to give up your rights. We might think it is weakness, but it's strength to give up your rights, even in a marriage situation. In fact, you don't have to go that far in marriage. You don't have to go that far. Even in friendships. In friendships, there are times when you have to give up your rights in order to maintain that relationship. You can't always be right in a relationship. That's why you never have friends. If you want friends, you gotta learn how to give up your rights sometimes. You can't always be right. You can't win every argument. Give it up sometimes. Sometimes you gotta zip it up. Let some things go. And that's what I believe friendships are about. In developing friendships and growing up, you're practicing all of these principles so that when you do get married, you will be used to doing it. Giving up your rights. Zipping it up, and not having to answer back everything that is said, and not having to always defend yourself, and not having to always get everything right. No. That's not good for marriage. That kind of situation, not good for marriage. You'll always be arguing about every little thing. You always got to be right. Two, you got to always be right. Nobody giving in. Now, it's not good for marriage. It's not good for any kind of relationship, but wait for marriage. So not giving up your rights to your spouse is not about being weak or a doormat. It's not about that. God is not calling you. Jesus is not saying that we must be weak. He's not saying that we must be somebody's doormat. No. In fact, it requires great strength to willingly give up your rights. It takes strength to do that. It takes strength sometimes to not answer back. It takes strength sometimes to just zip it up and look weak. You might look weak. You might look weak, especially as a man, for, if you have a moody woman. If your wife is a moody kind of woman, always, and you just, as a man, you're just sitting there taking it in and not responding, you might look weak to those looking on. But that takes strength to not respond. It really takes strength to not respond. It takes a whole lot of strength. And so Jesus is our example in this. He was anything but weak or a doormat. But he willingly gave up what was his right for us on the cross. He willingly gave up his life for us on the cross. He was not weak. Jesus didn't give up his life because he was weak. No. That's why he came. That's why he came to it. He came to die on the cross because there was no other way to redeem us to himself. There was no other way to provide salvation for us. He had to do what he did by willingly dying on the cross, by allowing them to crucify him on the cross and nail him on the cross and to do all those bad things to him. He had to willingly do that so that we might have life and have it more abundantly today. In Philippians chapter 2, verse 6 to 8, it says, who being in the form of God, talking about Jesus, did not consider it robbery to be equal with God, but made himself of no reputation, taking the form of a servant. This is Jesus now. Taking the form of a servant and coming in the likeness of man and being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself. He humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, even the death of the cross. He seemed weak. That's the way it appeared, eh? That he was weak. No, he wasn't. Not at all. Jesus, who is God in the flesh, submitted himself to become human. You can imagine? That's what Jesus is. That's who Jesus is. Jesus is God in the flesh. And he submitted himself to become human. He submitted himself to the authorities. He submitted himself to the cross. That took strength. He could run. He could run away and hide. No. He was not forced in any way of these things, but did so willingly because of his desire to glorify the Father and his love for us. That's why he did it. Jesus realized that there was no other way to save mankind. He had to leave heaven, come to earth, be born in a stinking old fly-infested stable, and come into the world like everybody else, and live for 33 years, and finally crucified on the cross, all because he loved us. But that takes strength. That took strength. And so I want to encourage you to be strong and to be willing to give up your rights for one another as husband and wife. In a marriage, in order for a marriage to be successful, you got to be willing to give up your rights for one another. After all, you're one. You're one. But if you're not thinking about unity, if you're not thinking about your marriage as being a unity between husband and wife, then you'll have a problem submitting to that. And so you can glorify the Father and begin to experience the joy that can result. And Paul goes on to get more specific for husbands and wives concerning some of the differences in the way God has designed us. He starts with the wives, and he says that in successful marriages, wives, give respect to your husbands. There's a big problem for many marriages, and perhaps the reason why many marriages are not successful, or it could also mean why many marriages are not happy relationships. It can also mean why some men go on their wives, have sweethearts and so on, because of the same fact. Wives are to give respect to their husband. And if a man doesn't feel respected by his wife, that's going to hurt him so much. That's going to hurt him so much, it will drive him to do some crazy things. And it affects men differently. A lack of respect in his home by his wife drives men to do things differently. Some men, and I believe most men, would go and have a sweetheart. He would find somebody else who can love him and who can respect him and who can make him feel the way he wants to be wants to feel, because his wife is not making him feel that way. A lot of times we might blame the man for being like that way, but it might go back to the fact that there's no respect given to him that he feels like he deserves. Now in Ephesians chapter 5, verses 22 to 24, Paul talks about wives submitting to their husbands. And this is talking about some of the role differences that God has given between men and women. But in the last line of this passage, in verse 33, Paul says that the wife must respect her husband. A wife is to respect her husband. And since we have just talked about what submission looks like, I want to talk about this concept of respect for a moment. Ladies, if you truly want to experience a successful marriage, you need to respect your husband. K2, K3, A1, remember that. If you all ever plan to get married one day, remember that what is important to a man is to respect him. A man wants to be respected. And if you can't respect somebody, don't marry them. You'll be a fool to not respect somebody and still marry them, because that calls for trouble. That spells trouble later on in that marriage. Remember that. K2, K3, and A1. Respect is so important for a man. You need to respect your husbands. You need to respect your husbands. I'm coming to the wives, but right now I'm reading the husbands. So we have already seen, and I am certain that anyone who is married knows that men and women are very different. Very different. But God in His wisdom has given a need to men to feel respected as primary in a guy's life. That's the way God wired us. That's the way God wired men. That's the way He wired men. He wired men in such a way that they need respect. A man needs to feel respected by his woman. And nothing destroys a man's ego than being shown disrespect by his wife. And this is why he tells wives to respect their husbands. It fulfills a God-designed need, because a man needs to feel respected. A man needs to feel respected. K2, K3, and A1. Remember that. Remember that. You all pay attention. Remember that. You might never heard that before in your life. You might have never heard that before in your life. And you might never hear it again outside of this church. A man needs respect. That's the way God designed it. Ain't nothing about being selfish on a man's part. That's the way God designed men. To feel respected and to be respected. Okay? Surveys have been done among men asking which would you rather feel. How would you rather feel? Alone and unloved, or inadequate and disrespected? Which one? 76% of the men would rather feel alone and unloved, or would rather be alone. 76% of men surveyed prefer to be alone and unloved than inadequate and disrespected by a woman or by his wife. That is 3 out of 4 guys feel that way. 3 out of 4 guys feel that way. I prefer to be alone and unloved than to be married, in other words, and to be disrespected in that marriage. I prefer to be alone. 3 out of 4 guys feel that way. And the fact of the matter is that when you give respect to your husband, you are loving them. Women got to realize that. K2, K3, remember that. Remember that about guys. Remember that about men. You want your man to feel loved? You want your husband to feel loved? Respect him. Respect him. It ain't a bunch of sex. It ain't about no sex. You sex him every day. That will make him feel respected. If you think that's where you can keep your husband happy by sexing him every day, no. Respect. Respect him. I can hear some of you right now thinking that my husband doesn't deserve my respect. You know, more like women. My husband doesn't deserve my respect. What are you talking about? And this is not about your husband deserving respect. This is about you trusting God. You see? It's about you trusting God. And for those of you who are single ladies, those of you who are single, K2 and K3, this is important for you to understand in relationships with guy friends. This is important to you, K2 and K3. This is important to you. You all keep your eyes on me, don't worry about the meeting, okay? By respecting them, you honor and you love them. By respecting your husbands, you honor and you love them. Well, how do you show respect to someone who you feel is not worthy of respect? Like some of you might be saying, my husband ain't worthy of respect. It starts with trusting God, which must then overflow to your actions. You got to trust God. God is telling you to do this. God is saying that you must. And so if you really believe God is God and that His ways are best, we will be able to do what He says. Amen? But if we really believe that, what can we do to show that respect? How can we show our husbands respect? Writing for Christian women today, Cindy Hambley, she gives 10 ways to respect your husband regardless of your feelings. You might feel as though he doesn't deserve your respect, and that might be so. In some cases, that might be so. And I believe that if you do these things, that you can and will grow in your feelings of respect for your husband. She says to respect your husband. Respect your husband. That's one. She says to pray for him daily. If you respect your husband, you pray for him daily. If you respect your husband, you remember that God will lead through him. God will lead through him if you respect him. And if you marry somebody and you don't trust their leadership, then you're a fool to marry him to begin with. You got to blame yourself. You a fool. You marry him now and say you don't trust him. If you respect your husband, you'll make a list of your husband's qualities and review them regularly. His qualities, good qualities. Remind yourself of his good qualities. Nobody is perfect, naturally. Nobody's all good and nobody's all bad. Nobody's all good. No boyfriend is all good and no boyfriend is all bad. Okay? Just like no husband is all good, no husband is all bad. So she's suggesting that you make a list of your husband's qualities and to review them regularly, his good qualities. Review them, remind yourself of his good qualities so that when these negative, these thoughts come into your mind about him, that those negative thoughts will be outdone by the positive thoughts that you always review in your mind. Because sometimes it can get to the point you could be such a negative kind of person, such a critical kind of person that all that matters to you and all you can see and all that you can remember about him is the negative stuff. To the point where you forget all about the good stuff that he does, about all the good that he's about. You forget all about those things.
You never talk about it. You never mention it to him. You never think about the good about him. All that matters to you is the negative stuff. And you keep throwing those negative stuff back at him all day long. Every time you have an altercation, you keep throwing those things up. Throwing those things up in his face, the negative stuff. My God, the man ain't all that bad. You know. So make a list of your husband's good qualities and review them regularly. Next, tell him what you appreciate about him. When some wives told their husbands what I appreciate about you. You know what I like about you? When last? I mean, that could do so much to his morale. It could do so much to his ego. It can really pump him up. If once in a while the wife would say to him, you know, what I really like about you, what I really appreciate about you, that would do a whole lot of good for that man, a poor man who might be struggling. He's trying so hard to do the right thing. He's trying so hard to be a good husband, but he never gets any kind of encouragement. All he hears all day long, every day, for months after months, after year, are negative stuff. You ain't no good. You ain't this. You the next thing. You don't do this. You don't do the next thing. When do you do this? When are you going to do the next thing? That's all he hears. Tell him what you appreciate about him. And there's some good in every man that you can tell him some good things every now and then about him. There's some good in every man. I don't care how bad he might be. There's some good in every husband. That's the point. And a good wife would surely remind him, if she wants the best out of him, if she has sense, she would remind him of those good things every now and then, knowing how that would help his morale. I have a wife who appreciates me. I have a wife who understands me. I have a wife who is supportive of me. Not someone who is tearing me down. I mean, it's hard enough outside there in the world. It's hard enough out there in the world. They come home night after night and they hear the same old negative stuff being nagged about over and over again. Next, don't criticize your husband to others, especially your children. Oh my gracious. This is something that's so common, especially with Bahamian women. Don't criticize your husband to others, especially your children. Some mothers have a bad habit of destroying their husbands in front of the children, to the point where the children begin to lose disrespect for the husband. Only that can happen if the mother continues to criticize the husband in the front of the children. If she speaks to him rudely and disrespectfully in the front of the children over and over again, is a fact of life. That's the way they communicate. And more the children hear that and see that being exhibited in the home between husband and wife, between mommy and daddy, the more the children grow to disrespect daddy, to disrespect the husband. What that does to the husband again? What it does to him? It not only makes him angry, it not only destroys his ego. I want to talk about intimacy. And it's no man can function in a situation like that, where he's always being attacked, where he's always being disrespected by the wife, especially in the front of the children. He can't function. It destroys the marriage, it destroys intimacy, it destroys the home. It's devastating. It's devastating, and these are some of the things that a wife should never do. And if she does, she should repent. At some point, she should repent. Repent to him, repent before him, repent to the children, and say, you know, I was wrong. I grew you all up wrong. I was wrong how I raised you, and I was wrong in being the kind of wife and being the kind of husband being the kind of wife I was over the years. I haven't set a good example as a mother. I haven't set a good example as a wife to you. One day you might get married and go out and perhaps repeat the same thing that you saw me do to your husband. You begin to respond to your husband, and that is so true, because children learn where they live. That's a fact of life. Children learn what they live when if they see their mother responding, and if they see their mother acting in the same way all the time to her husband, that girl will get married one day and she can do the very same. I don't care how educated she might be. She might go to university, come back with a doctorate degree. When she get married, she end up treating her husband the same way she saw mommy treat her husband. She end up speaking to her husband the same way she saw mommy speak to her husband, rudely and disrespectfully. Children learn what they live because it's all recorded up here. It's all recorded up here. And once put in a particular situation, all of that she has recorded, it come back, zoom, come back to her mind. Because that's all she knows. She remembers how mommy responded in that particular situation. She remembers how mommy acted in that particular situation. She remembers how mommy speaks to daddy. And whatnot. And she wants to have her way. And she repeats the same thing, no matter how educated she might be. Children learn what they live. And so you see, as parents, we got to be so careful how we act and live around our children if we want them to be happy one day. Otherwise, they can repeat exactly what you did in your marriage. So don't criticize your husbands to others, especially to your children. Especially to your children. You're destroying that child's life. You're destroying your child's life. You're destroying your daughter's life. That's what you're doing. You're destroying your daughter's life. She will be a complete replica of you, and maybe worse. She might even take it to the next level. Look for the positive side of things that you may find irritating in your husband. Look for the positive side. And like I say, he ain't all that bad. Look for the positive side. Respond to his loving advances with enthusiasm. Don't keep slapping his hand away. Don't keep criticizing him. That's all you're into it. Now leave me alone. Kind of. I ended that. And on and on. You know, come on, man. Respond to his loving advances with enthusiasm. We're talking about marriage now. We're talking about a successful marriage. How to have a successful marriage. Respond to his loving advances. I know some men are more affectionate than women. Some men would even tell you that. But even if that's the case, learn how to respond to his loving advances with enthusiasm. Don't keep slapping his hand away. Don't keep pushing him away. You're pushing him into somebody else's arms. That's what you're doing. And that's foolish. It's foolish for a wife to take her husband for granted. That way he ain't a sweetheart. That's foolish. Foolish. You know what I mean? So if you are concerned, if you are concerned about a decision your husband has made, ask him the following. Am I confused about so and so? I feel uncomfortable with so and so. You know what I mean? That's where communication comes in a marriage. Learn how to communicate. Talk. And of course, it's how you talk to. Talk sensibly. Talk calmly. Talk with love in the voice. Talk with a smile in the voice when you talk. And everything ought to be gruff and rough and harsh. Talk with kindness and tenderness in your voice as a woman. Do not frustrate him by not cooperating with his leadership, like some women like to do. You know, Jezebel spirit kicks in. They want me in charge. Some women feel, so I got to be in charge. You know, I ain't going to submit. These women who don't want to submit, you know what I mean? But no, do not frustrate him by not cooperating with his leadership. He's the head. God made him the head. Cooperate with him. That's how you show that you love him. That's how you show the man that you love him. And so if you find yourself thinking negative thoughts about your husband, stop and choose to think of his good qualities. Don't be so negative and don't be so critical. You know, everything that comes with your motive is negative. Everything that comes with your motive is criticism. My God. There's only so much of that anybody can take. Philippians 4:8 says, finally, brethren, whatever is pure, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Think about these things. Think about these things. Think about those things. Don't think about the negative stuff. You know. My God. You see how difficult marriage is. So before you all get married, K2, K3, A1, before y'all get married. Think. Think. Educate yourself on what marriage is, what's expected of you. It ain't all about freedom, getting, an opportunity to get away from home. It ain't all about sex. No. Because like I say, after a couple of weeks, after a couple of months, you get tired of that. Tired of sex. So remember, God is working on you and your husband. Talking about wives now. You can both learn from your failures as well as your successes. Give God the freedom to teach your husband through failure. Give him the freedom for God to teach him through failure. Don't further destroy him because he might have failed in something. No, God might have allowed him to fail to teach him a lesson. Give God the freedom to teach your husband through failure. In the same way, give God the freedom to teach you to trust him through your husband's failure. So God allows these failures in our lives sometimes to teach us a lesson, to teach us how to trust him. But we missed the curve because we miss what God is doing in our lives. Respect your husband in your actions. Respect your husband in your actions and how you react to and how you act towards him. Respect him. Respect him. Respect your husband in your actions. Turning to husbands, the Lord tells us through Paul that in successful marriages, husbands give love to your wives. I'm dealing with husbands now. I was talking to the wives a while ago. Let's look at the husbands now. A successful marriage, husbands are to love their wives. Husbands, you need to love your wife as Christ loved the church. That's Ephesians chapter 5, which we read already. Ephesians 5, verses 25 to 30. That's that portion in there. It's dealing with husbands and how husbands are to love their wives. Husbands, you need to love your wife as Christ loved the church. Christ loved the church sacrificially. That's how he loved the church. And so husbands are to love their wives sacrificially. We need to love our wives sacrificially. What does that mean? We have to love our wives sacrificially. K1, K2, K3, and A1. Remember that your husband is supposed to love you sacrificially. You see, this is helping you to understand what love is, what true love is. Huh? K2 and K3 and A1. This is helping you to understand what true love is. True love ain't mean your heart beating a little faster when you see him. Right, K3 and K2. When you see, every time you see the guy, your heart starts pounding, and then your hand, you find the palm of your hand gets sweaty, and you get nervous. That ain't love. What's that? That's a little phase you go through, in growing up. It's called infatuation. That ain't love. Infatuation. That's all that is. That ain't love. Trust me. Trust me. I've been there before. Been there, done that. And then with that, thousands of us who went through that as well. Mommy went through that. Oh yeah, Mommy went through that. She can tell you that. That ain't love, right, Mommy? That ain't love. Every time you see this particular guy in school or wherever, your heart starts pounding. Gee, look coming. Then you get all nervous. You don't know what to do with yourself. I won't talk, but if he walks up to you and start to talk, you don't know what to say. You start stuttering. Right, K3? And K2, I say K2, right, K2? You start stuttering because he walked up to you. Now what I can say now? What I can say now, because I want to impress him. That's infatuation. Remember that word, infatuation. Infatuation is not love. That's not love. Because listen, after you get married, you don't feel that way no more about your spouse. Your love graduates to a different level. You don't feel that way about your spouse. When you see them, your heart starts pounding and you start to sweat in the palm of your hand. All that. No. Not in marriage. Because that ain't love. That's not love. Okay? That's only a phase you're going through. A phase that you have to go through that's helping to prepare you for real love that will come along later on in life. And so you got to be able to tell the difference between infatuation and real love. Okay? And so husbands, you need to love your wives as Christ loved the church. How? Now some of you men are thinking, I sacrifice for my wife and family. I work long hours to provide. I will lay down my life to protect them from harm or danger. I don't go out with my buddies after work, but I come straight home instead. That's how I sacrifice. Yeah, I sacrifice for my wife. Listen, we need to understand what sacrifice is. Sacrifice is not doing what we feel is sacrifice. It is doing what others think is sacrifice. So you could be doing some things for your wife, but she might not interpret that as sacrifice. So you have to know what she interprets sacrifice to be. Loving our wives sacrificially is going to look more like this. Going to the mall and shopping with her, that's sacrifice. For a guy, especially on the weekends when he could be watching football at home. Especially on Sundays. On Sundays when it's football time, oh yeah. Football time at noon. And if you could pry your husband away from the television 12 o'clock Sunday. Listen, there was a time that we had some folk in this church. That's when we used to have church on Sundays. I mean, like this whole side, it was filled with them. Like a whole family of this whole side was filled with them. And I used to be preaching, you're not long-winded, right? And come Sunday, on a Sunday, Mitzi, at 11:45, no matter where I am in the sermon or the teaching, they all pick up and they leave. That's right. The whole side picks up and leave because why? They have to go home, they have to catch their football game. That was a football family. They had to be home at 12 o'clock. They didn't want to be late. They want to be home on time to catch the opening kickoff of the ceremonies and all that. They want to get all the commercials and everything else. They want to be sitting down in their couch with all the corn, with the popcorn and the collects and everything else, and their hot dogs. They want to be in place. They want to be in place for their football kickoff on Sunday at noon. On noon. And so I would lose half of the church. I would lose half of the church at 12 o'clock every Sunday. So if you can get a guy to give that up. I mean, they wouldn't even give that up for God. They wouldn't even give that football game up for God. They would walk out on me in the midst of a sermon. All of them walk out. One after the next. One long line. Out the door.
Odds watchers.
You remember that, right, me?
Yeah.
That's sacrifice. That is sacrifice. They would say to God, I love you that much, Lord, that I would miss the opening ceremonies of the game. I don't want to just walk over the church like that. I love you that much. I'll make that sacrifice for you. Well, if a husband is willing to make that kind of sacrifice for his wife, she should appreciate that. That's sacrifice. If he's willing to give up his game, his Sunday game, for whatever she might want him to do on Sunday, that's sacrifice. That's sacrificial love. That's sacrificial love. Going to the mall and shopping with her. Giving up the game, like I said. Spending some time talking about your day and her day after work so that she can feel connected to you. That's sacrifice. Sitting down in a room together or in the kitchen or anywhere and spending at least half an hour talking about her day. What happened today? What went on at the office today? That ain't nosy, that's caring. Some wives will say that way, being nosy, that ain't your business. What you mean? Something wrong with her head, does she think that way? As a wife? Something wrong with her head, what you mean? I'm trying to connect with you, woman. I'm trying to connect with you. It ain't so much me being nosy. If I don't care, if I don't ask, then you say I don't care. But I'm willing to sacrifice even whatever the stuff that I would do at that time in the evening. Whatever that is, sitting down watching the news or sitting down watching a movie or whatever stuff I like to do as a man, I'm willing to give that up to listen to you for half an hour, listen to you for 1 hour as to what's been on in your day this day. That's sacrifice. That's sacrificial love. Sacrificial love is really listening to her. Really listen. Now really listening to her. That is something, of course, most of us men are weak in. We don't know how to listen. We don't know how to listen. We might be listening, but at the same time we're reading the newspaper. No, you ain't listening. You can't listen to her and be reading the newspaper at the same time. Or you can't listen to her and be watching a movie at the same time. You know what I mean? Really listening to her. That means not just hearing what she's saying, but remembering what she said. Remembering what she said. And also listening to the things going on in her life without offering a solution, but giving her empathy. Giving her empathy. That is sacrifice.
Changing the gods.
Yeah, that is sacrifice. Studying her and act upon the things that you learn. What does she like? Knowing what she likes and she doesn't like, and so on and so forth. Make her coffee or tea and learn how she likes it and make it that way all the time. Like, okay, I don't, I like two spoons of sugar, no cream.
Penny cream.
Or no cream. You gotta know, you gotta remember that. I don't like my tea with cream, or I like cream. You gotta remember that. You know what I mean? Not if you know she doesn't like cream, or and you bring her with cream. You gotta know her, and you gotta remember. And I guess too, she can easily think that I'm not important to you if you can't remember how I like my tea. You mean all these years I've been married to you, and you don't know how I like my tea yet? You know what I mean? This is it. Of course, some women change their minds. They might want cream tonight, but then in the morning they don't want no cream. So,
You know
what I mean? Some women mix up. You know what I mean? They like cream one night, next night they don't want no cream. So, you got to be willing to go with the flow. All right?
Yeah, how you want it? How you want it?
Oh boy. So, what is her favorite type of gift? Does she like flowers? Not buy her some if she likes flowers, and she might like potted flowers, so she can plant them in the yard somewhere. Yeah, so you gotta know those kind of things. If she likes the yard, and your wife yardy, huh?
You stay the farm.
If she yardy, then you gotta buy her plants for the yard.
Oh, I'm moisty.
You know what I mean? Because she like the plants, she like to be digging up in the dirt. She like to be digging up in the dirt and getting dirty. So you gotta remember those things and buy the plants and so on and so forth. So find out what her love language is. Her love language. The 5 love languages by Gary Chapman are acts of service. Acts of service, I don't need to elaborate on these. Acts of service, words of affirmation. These are the love languages. Words of affirmation, she needs to be affirmed, just like the man needs to be affirmed. The woman needs to be affirmed too. She needs to be told every now and then, well, you look nice. You look nice today. Oh, I like that hairdo, or I like that dress on you. Affirmation, you don't say it every day, but then it become meaningless. If every dress she puts on you compliment it, then it loses meaning. And so you have to know when to affirm them. You know what I mean? Physical touch. These are the 5 love languages. Some men love to touch. Some women don't like to be touched. Now, if you have a woman like that, now you gotta put your hand in your pocket.
Dig in your nose.
Put your hand in your pocket like Perry when Perry walks around. When Perry walks around, he walks around with his hand in his pocket all the time.
There you go.
Receiving gifts. Some women love to receive gifts, even if it's just an apple or a chocolate bar when you come home, or a pastry.
Before you go up, you used to get a lot.
Some women love quality time. And so you can't just get married and tell her that you love her and think that should be good enough for the rest of your life. To just say I love you. In fact, some men don't even say I love you.
They should.
Some men don't hardly use that word, that term, I love you. I love you. What's that? And so God has designed your wife with a need to feel love from you. You hear that? God has given you responsibility to meet that need in your wife by showing her love in the way that she will receive that. But it will definitely require sacrifice on your part. To both husband and wives. To both husband and wives. Now, just so we understand, both husband and wives need to be loved and respected. This is not a one-way thing. Both husband and wife need to be loved Both husband and wives need to be respected. That's established. So not only the husband needs respect, the wife needs respect. That goes without saying. So don't go from here saying that I said only husbands should be respected. That's not biblical. Both husband and wife need respect. Both husband and wife needs love. Just like the wife needs to be loved and needs to feel loved by her husband, the husband needs to feel loved by her too. All right? And so now that, just so we understand, both husband and wives need to be loved and respected. In 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 7, Peter says, husbands, in the same way, be considerate. Remember we dealt with that word last week. Be considerate as you live with your wives. Be considerate. And treat them with respect as the weaker partner. As the weaker partner. Remember that, husbands. Remember that, fellows. Remember that. Treat them with respect as the weaker partners. Now, if you want to respect your wife, you got to remember that she is weaker. She is weaker. She is the weaker partner, and as heirs with you of the gracious gift of life, so that nothing will hinder your prayers. If you don't treat your wife with respect, your prayers will be hindered. Of course, like I always say, that goes both ways. If you don't respect your husband, your prayers won't be heard. And if a husband doesn't respect his wife, his prayers will not be heard either. Okay? So we got to respect and we got to love each other. And throughout Scripture, we are commanded to love one another. We are commanded to love one another. We need to both love and to respect each other. That's important. That's important. We need to both respect and love each other. And so then, for the sake of time, then I think I'll cut it right at that point, and we pick it up from there next time. But let me just reiterate that we need to both love and respect each other, husband and wives. Let us end on that note. That in a good marriage, both husband and wife needs to be loved in order for that marriage to be successful. They both need love. Not only the wife needs love. In order for a marriage to be successful, both husband and wife need respect. Not just the husband. Both need respect. The husband needs respect from his wife, and likewise, the wife needs respect from her husband. Amen? Amen?
Amen.
They both need to be respected. And I want to encourage you both. I want to encourage all our young women in particular, like I said, K2 and K3 and A1. Remember that about marriage. Remember that about marriage. Irrespective of what you've seen in your lifetime in marriages. Irrespective of that. In order for a marriage to be successful, there has to be love on both sides, and there has to be respect on both sides. And let me just reiterate that if you are in a relationship now, or let's say in any future time, if you happen to be in a relationship any time in the future, and if you cannot respect your friend that you say that you are spending time with, you should not marry them. If you cannot respect them, if there are things about them that you cannot respect and you cannot live with, do not marry them, because you are headed towards trouble, serious trouble in the relationship, if you cannot respect them. Because it's your respect for them. It's your respect for them that is going to keep the marriage together. It's your respect for them and their respect for you that will keep that marriage together. If there's no respect in that marriage is on shaky ground. Shaky ground. Not only that, it can open the doors for illicit relationships. If there's no real love and there's no real respect in that marriage, you are opening the door for other relationships or for other affairs. The other affairs can come into that marriage. If there's no love in that marriage, if there's no respect for one another in that marriage, you're opening the door for other relationships or for affairs. And of course, we're talking divorce. divorce, because once you get involved with somebody else, whether emotionally or even physically, or both, you're headed towards divorce. If you allow yourself to get involved with somebody else while you're married, to any degree, that you're headed towards disaster. And so, we have to maintain that love for each other and that respect for each other in order for that marriage to subsist in Jesus' mighty name.